Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Curtis from psnstores.com. Today we're looking at Resident Evil 0 HD. Here we are. I made a quick save about a minute or two into the game, just so we can just go ahead and get going. Um, if you played the HD remake of from last year, or the HD version of the Resident Evil remake that was on the GameCube, if you played that, most of the stuff that they did there, it's pretty much what happened with this game as well. I actually never played Zero, so I'm a couple hours into this game. Um, I'm liking it a lot. There's a couple little things that I kind of miss from last year's game, and it's mostly the differences between the way the item management works, and I'll explain that in a minute. But very quickly, like, hit square, you can open up kind of your inventory screen. There is a party system sort of here, where eventually we meet up with another guy, and you can kind of switch between the two of them. You can have you can like keep them in different locations. You can have them follow each other, and then you can trade, swap items between each other, and that's pretty cool. It works. There's some interesting puzzle design going on in the train. Like I'm basically a little after the train section of this game is where I'm at right now. So there's some interesting stuff going on. So Rebecca Chambers, she has the ability to mix the different herbs that you'll find. But you can also go here and you can switch. And so if you like, I guess if you pre-ordered the game or something, you get some different costumes. So there's the cheerleader, Western, and whatnot, and then there's also like t-shirts, which I actually kind of like that one. It's very simple. So there you go. Get a trophy for it. So here's our save room with the music. It's great. I got a green herb. Let's read this. We'll just quickly go through this. I've read it before. So yeah, I mean, you know, like there's this also comes with all of the options that you would expect. Pretty much identical options to last year's game. If you go to display, you can change from wine to original. If you go to controls, you can switch between the kind of tank controls that were in the original game, but then also the newer controls that they included also in last year's game. I very, very much prefer the tank controls. I think even if it's something that you're not used to, if you take 20 minutes or so and just feel it out and let it go and kind of get used to it, I think it's a much better way to play this game. If you don't want to, that's fine, but I really strongly feel, and it's mostly because let's start playing. The way that these games are made, where it's like fixed camera angles, and then like so when you walk off screen, the camera will switch, and sometimes it'll be at a different angle. So like right here, it switches, and if you're using the new control scheme, the way that you move your character, it's very easy to get like disoriented when that camera switches. So you'll be moving forward, but then the camera will switch, and then you'll start moving backwards or something like that, because it's just the way that it works between like how the camera's positioned and the way that you're controlling your character and stuff. So I think the tank controls, just if you take time to get used to them, I think they work like really, really well. And honestly, like it just becomes a thing where like once you get like the movement, it just becomes second nature. Here we go.
Billy. Lieutenant Cohen.
So, you seem to know me. been fantasizing about me, have you?
You're the prisoner that was being transferred for execution. You were with those soldiers outside.
Oh, I see. You're with stars. Well, no offense,
Stars.
honey, but your kind doesn't seem to want me around.
Dude,
So
Resident Evil
I'm
3.
afraid our little
I
date
feel like
is
Resident Evil
over.
3 is like the game that,
Wait!
I mean,
You're
obviously,
under
like, one,
arrest.
you know, Resident Evil 1 and 2 are
No
just
thanks, Dollface.
on a league of their own.
Already warning.
But I really feel like 3 doesn't get
I
the
could
respect
shoot
that
you.
it deserves. Here we go.
Edward! Are you alright? What happened?
Worse
Freaking dogs.
than can't. You must be careful, Rebecca. The forest is full of
I mean, so, you know, the faces
monsters.
look weird, and especially, like, Rebecca, she looks kind of strange in certain circumstances in some of the cutscenes. Like, she just looks really off. But I think, like, just the work done to, like, the actual environments themselves, like, those, much like last year's game, it really holds up. Oh, this is... I always have issue with these dogs. I need to heal. I think we're good. Okay. So yeah, this is the first sequence, like first area of the game. You're on a train, which is really cool. I mean, and again, up until a few nights ago never played Resident Evil 0, so I am very excited to dig deeper into this and finally play through it. And I'm curious. I'm curious how it stands between like all of the other classic like Resident Evil games. Those are games that I love. I am the type of, like, for me it's very much Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 above all of the others. 4 is great. Nothing against 4, but I much again I really prefer that kind of the old school vibe that you get from 1, 2, and 3. Just the fixed camera angles, like all of that stuff. I so much prefer, and so it's cool to like have another one of these that I've never played before, and I'm not really, you know, I'm not expecting it to be better than any of them, but I'm liking it so far. I think having the two playable characters that you switch between,
This is Rebecca. Over.
it's offered some interesting like puzzle design. There's some interesting stuff they've done with it so far.
Enrico! Hello!
The big thing that I don't like right now is typically, like, you know, you would have your save room, and then you would have the typewriter, and then you'd have your save, like your storage box. And so you would store the items you don't need in that storage box, knowing that eventually you'd come across another storage box or an item box, and then you could switch out items there. But in this game, there are no, at least from what I've seen so far, there are no item boxes. So you can drop items and they will stay there. So like if you don't need something and you're in like a room, like a certain room where there's not going to be any enemies, like you can drop that item there, and then you can come back for it later. But I just don't. I just like having that item box there, and I kind of miss it. And from what I've seen, there's definitely been like it's created some instances of just like this is kind of annoying having to deal with this inventory, which is strange because I love the inventory system in Resident Evil. Typically I am, you know, it very much is dependent on the game, but like the inventory system in these games works so well to its advantage. But I don't really, I mean, at least so far, at least the first like hour and a half or
Why don't we
so,
Cooperate with you?
I've found myself wishing there was those item boxes that I could use.
freaked out things on this train, and I for one wanted
But,
it outta
you know, I mean, that could be a thing where, like, I just don't... It's my first time playing through,
Expect me
so...
to trust you, a wanted felon? I don't need your help.
I don't know if we can skip it. There we go. Because I mean, last year I played through that remake like 7 times, and after a couple playthroughs, it just got to this point where I knew that game like the back of my hand. I probably knew that game better than I've ever known most games. Like, just memorized every little thing about it and what the exact items I needed at every like moment. It was pretty intense, but it was also like super rewarding. So I don't know. I imagine this is very similar, where once you figured it out and once you know this game well enough, like not having those item boxes is probably not a big deal. Right. This is our kind of first run-in with a zombie that is a little bit different. I think we just run downstairs. And then Billy will come in to save us. I think this might also be the cutscene where we first see, like, kind of one of the major villains of the game. I'm not sure. But we're gonna go ahead and skip it, because just in the interest of time. I like the idea of Rebecca just wearing like a Resident Evil themed t-shirt. Alright, so this is kind of where it introduces the party mechanic. Or the partner mechanic or whatever. So if you hit the touchpad, that's kind of where you can issue your follow.
Okay.
This way.
Okay.
And stay commands. You hit triangle to switch between each of them. So let's see.
Roger.
So if I can tell her to stay here, and I can go down here. Get these great load screens. Hit triangle. I'll switch back to her. And it's the kind of thing where you want to make sure that each of them have like good ammo, supplies, and storage like that, because it is, I guess it's like I haven't had a situation where it's happened yet, but the game explicitly is like, hey, they can get attacked while they're off doing their other thing. Like, that can happen, and they might call for your help, and you'll want to run to them, or you'll switch to them, I would guess. But so he's also got the handgun and some ammo, but he's also got a knife. And then he actually can't combine the herbs, so that's kind of where his trade-off is. He's got I guess better strength, so his shots do more damage and stuff. And I think he has more health. And so where Rebecca there's a couple other things that she's more capable of doing. So let me take a look at the map. Right now, not too much to look at here. I mean, it is a train, so it is essentially a straight line. So we'll play a little bit longer. I don't know that this game needs a super long video, but I'm enjoying it so far. You know, I love Resident Evil, especially this kind of like the fixed camera angle style of Resident Evil. It's something I don't know that it ever will, but it's something that I would love to see come back in a new game. I don't know that it will ever, but if it did, man, oh, I'm actually gonna have Billy follow me here.
Come on.
Okay.
We'll switch to him, actually. And so the trade items between each person, you need to be like in a pretty close proximity to each other. I imagine that's pretty self-explanatory. So let's take these guys out. And you know, obviously, like you probably wouldn't want to you probably wouldn't want to waste your ammo on those guys. You probably just want to run by them. Especially if you know what you're doing, because like That's the thing. That's like the genius of these games and their level design is like once you know what to do, like it's pretty insane. Like that was my big revelation when I played through the remake last year, which was my first time playing through that. It was like once I got to know exactly the route I should be taking and where I need to be headed to, like it really starts to just show how incredible the level design is in that game. So, I don't know. Hopefully I'll feel less strongly about this game as I did last year's game by the time I finish this. But really, like, I mean, other than the item boxes, there's nothing really here as of yet that I don't really care for. This is pretty much exactly what I was expecting and what I would want, so. I think I already got this stuff in here. So I kind of forget because I made this save super quick, so I don't remember exactly what I did before that save. I guess we can head upstairs and I can show the like the creepy thing that's up there, up one of the sets of stairs. The only thing that I could see maybe being an issue later on as something that I might not like is switching between two characters. That I'm really not sure of. I mean, so far the train sequence had some pretty cool puzzles going on, but we'll see. Like, we'll see how that ends up panning out in the long run. I'll take it. Yes, if you walk over here, there's like these weird eggs. But I think that's probably going to do it for this video. I don't want to go on for too long. I just wanted to have a short little video here to just so you can check it out and see what it kind of looks like. If you played Resident Evil 0, I imagine you know what to expect from this. And if you haven't, hey, it's another classic style Resident Evil game. We don't really get those anymore. And even though this is a game that came out a long time ago, it's nice to kind of have the ease of access with something like this. So I actually don't remember. Oh well, whatever. I don't really remember where I'm supposed to go next, but it's because I played this section a few nights ago. So, anyways, that is Resident Evil 0 HD. It is available now. I will have a review and other coverage for this game hopefully in the coming days. But until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. If you like this or any of our other YouTube videos, subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to support what we do in general, be sure to hop on over to patreon.com/psnstores. Your patronage helps keep our podcast 100% ad-free. Thanks for watching.